everyone, welcome back to the session. So in the previous session we have seen about the third unit that completely full based upon the requirement modeling, requirement analysis, what are the different models we have to do after the requirement analysis. Okay, so now let's go for the next unit, that is the fourth unit. So fourth unit is mainly concerned on the designing part. So we have seen the requirements, now we are going for the designing. So what are the design we have to, so how design has to be done. So for software, so what is the design context? So for the software engineering, what is the design process, what are the different concepts of the design and design models, architecture, what are the architecture, so what are the architectural journals. Okay, so these are the different topics we will see in this unit, fourth unit. So let's go for the first topic of the unit 4. So the first topic is design concepts. So what is it? So we have know about the designing. So what is the designing? The way of arranging the elements for the software. So the way of arranging of the some elements or some keeping of some designing modes. Okay. So let's go for the what is the design concept in the software engineering. So software design encompasses the set of principles, concepts and practices that lead to the development of a high level quality system or product. So what is a design? The software design encompasses, that means it consists of the set of principles. It has some principles, it has some concepts, so it will have some practices. So by combining all this that lead to the development of the high quality of the system software. So whatever the software you are developing, in order to get the high quality, in order to get the some quality product, so which has to pass all the quality test. So for that process, design system, software design is came into existence. So in this software design, it is consists of some set of principles, that means some of the guidelines, some concepts. So design concepts, we have the different design concepts. In requirement models, we have some design, some different models. What are those? So scenario based models, class based models, object based models, data flow diagrams. Okay, like that we have some concepts. Like that in design process also we have the different concepts and also some practices. So we have to need to do some practices for that. So if you are arranging of the elements in some manner, so what is the problem? If we align the elements in horizontal or vertical, so how the design process are? Well, there are some practices and which by combining all this that lead to the high quality of the software product. For that process, software design came into existence. Okay. So the next, so design principles establish an overriding philosophy. So and guides that guides you in the design work you must perform. So whatever the design work you are doing, so it has to establish some design principles. So what are the design principles? We will see later. Okay. So by using these design principles, it will establish some overriding philosophy that guides you in the design work you must perform. So of course, who are the software developers, they know some designs. Apart from that, they can also implement some more changes into that. So they can also take into existence some new things. So in the design process. So design is pivotal to successful software engineering. So design part is the most, pivot is nothing but pivotal is important. Is important to the successful software engineering. Okay. And next, so the goal of, what is the goal? So the goal of design is to produce a model or representation that exhibits the fitness, commodity and delight. Software design changes continually as the new methods, better analysis and broader understanding evolve. So why? So what design? So what is the goal of the design? Why we are giving the most importance to the design part? So what is its goal? So the main goal of the design is to produce a model presentation. So for example, if you go for some civil engineer, so if you say I want to construct some house, so if you give some requirements, so two bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, whatever the rooms you want. So if you give some requirements, according to that he will make some model, some architecture. So why he was giving some architecture? Because in order to view, so the design of the system, okay, like this your house will be viewed. So if it constructs like this, so if the flooring has done like this, so if the rooms is constructed in left or right or whatever it is. Okay, like that. So they will make some design processes, that is the architecture. Why it is doing? So it plays an important role. So by seeing the architecture, okay, if this architecture is good, then they will go for the construction part. If the architecture is not good, then they will make some more changes according to the user requirements, like that. Okay, so exhibit that exhibits formless, commodity and delight software, design changes, continued as new methods, better analysis and broader understanding evolve. So in order to understand better, in order to understand in the analysis, in order to make some more analysis, so design parts plays an important role in the software engineering. And next coming to the next topic is design within the context of software engineering. So what is the design within the context? So what is this? So let us go further. So software design sits at the technical kernel of the software engineering. So kernel is nothing but like a operating system. So in operating system in OS we have the kernel. So whatever the commands are there, first it has to hit the kernel. So then only it will pass to the particular resource or whatever it is. Okay. So how OS is important for a system, like that. In software design is also one technical operating system for the software product development in software engineering, and is applied regardless of the software process model that is used. Okay, beginning once. So beginning once software requirements have been analyzed. So once you have software requirements, what you have, so whatever the software requirements you have, so according to that, if you analyze, so if you did the sum, so the model, so beginning of the software, so once you begin, so once the software requirements are begin, they have to be analyzed and they have to be modeled. Software design is the last software engineering action. So first, whatever the software process you are going to start, the first step is the requirements. Then you will go for the planning. So what are the requirements? So how to analyze those requirements? Okay, after the requirements, after analyzing, then you will go for the model. So that means some analyzing models. So requirement analysis models we have seen previously. Okay, then the last part is the design. Okay, so designing is the last software engineering action within the modeling activity and sets the stages for the construction, that is the coding, generation and testing. So in order to start the code part, in order to start the testing part, design plays a most important role. Okay, so and next up. So each of the element of the requirement model provides information that is necessary to create the 4 design models required for a complete specification of the design. So whatever the elements you are considering in it, that means elements are nothing but what in design part, what are the placing of icons, okay, or design outlook. So not the hardware part, the software, within the software, how it looks, okay. So each of the elements of the requirement model provides information that is necessary to create the 4 design models required for a complete specification of the design. So whatever you create, you can create the more models. So apart from those models, which model is compatible to the software development? So they have to consider. The flow of information during software design is illustrated in the following figure. So there is a figure, so I will show in the later. Okay. So how the information is flow in the design process. So in the previous sessions we have seen about in 3rd unit, we have seen the sequence diagram, UML diagrams. For what they are using, those UML diagrams are using for the requirement analysis model. In requirement modeling, in requirement analysis modeling, those things are using for UML diagrams. So why we are using, how the information is passing, how the behavior of that element is there, particular how when one event is occurred, so how the action is, how the state is changing from one to another state. Okay, so in order to observe that, we will go for the analysis models. So like that, in design process, how the flow of information is moving from between the elements, whatever the elements you design in the system. So how the flow of information is going. For example, so by using the mouse pointer or else, so I'm by using the remote, so I'm changing the slides. So how it is changing? Okay, so that is one of the thing. So the requirements model manifested by scenario-based, class-based, flow-oriented and behavioral elements feed the design task. So we have seen the requirement models. So in third unit we have seen some requirement models. What are those? Scenario-based, class-based, flow-oriented and behavioral elements feed the design task. So whatever the things you are considering in the requirement model, so based upon the design task will be depend upon. Okay, and next. So the data class design transfers the class models into design class, realization and requisite data structures required to implement the software. So if you have taken the model in the data or class model, so apart from the design scenario based, apart from the data flow, so if you take the class diagrams, so basing upon the class diagram, the class requirement analysis model, okay. So the transformation of the classes from one model to another model. So for that you will write the data structures that implement the software. So the programming, data structure programming, linked list, circular linked list, different linked list. Okay, they will be implemented. So and next. So this is the diagram. So previously I have said there is a one diagram. So the flow of information during the software design is illustrated in the following figure. So the diagram is this. Okay. So first one is a scenario based. So first one is a scenario based elements. So what are the scenario based elements? In scenario based elements, what we are do? So we will go for the use cases. You will go for the use case diagrams, activity diagrams, simulant diagrams. That is a scenario based. Okay. So after scenario based, it will go for the flow oriented. So in flow oriented, we will go for the data flow diagrams, control flow diagrams, processing narratives. So we have seen data flow. What is data flow? What is the control flow? And processing narratives. Processing narratives means, so what is the process is going on. So we have to write in document. That is the processing narratives. PS. PS process specification. Okay. And next. So this is the analysis model. In analysis model, we will consider all this. So next one is the behavioral elements. So what is the behavior? So in this behavioral elements, we will go for the state diagram and the sequence diagrams. We will go for the state diagrams and the sequence diagrams we have seen in the third unit. And next, class based. Later on, class based. So in this class based elements, we will draw the class diagrams, analysis packages, CRC models, collaborative diagrams. So which are seen in the third unit. So after that again is go for the analysis model. In analysis model they will go for the some circular route. Okay, which model is best for the analysis part? So they will take. Okay, so here there is some design model. So which model? Which model? So which data model? I mean, which scenario has to be taken? Analysis models. Which analysis model is suitable for the which data diagram? So design model. Okay, so first is the interface design. So the first one is the interface design. So in interface design, so interface design can be taken from the scenario based. If you see the line, interface design. Interface means one interacting with the system, like websites. So the front end. So that is the interface design. Okay, and also behavioral elements. So behavioral or elements diagrams also will interact with the, will be useful for the interface designing. And also flow oriented. Okay. And next is the class. Class is not come to the interface design, only the scenario based, flow oriented, behavior. So these three all interact with the interface design. Next one is the architectural design. So for architectural design, which flow model, which data model will be used? Okay, so first one is the flow oriented, and nextly is the class diagrams. So class diagrams and flow oriented will be related to the architectural design. Okay, and next third design is the data or class design. So for data or class design, class-based elements will interact, okay, and only class-based. So for data class design, only the class-based, because this class-based elements only will have the class diagrams, packages, and CRC models. Only interface are the three models. We can consider the three models. One is the scenario-based, one is the flow-oriented, and next one is the behavior. Okay. So this one is the component level. This is the one most important level, is the component level. That means complete design. So this component model, for this component model, only two models will interact. One is the flow-oriented models, and next one is the class-based models. Because there is a packages. So there is a collaboration diagram. So there is a packages. These packages and collaboration diagrams are useful for the component level design. Okay. So design level is the four types. One is the data, one is architectural, one is interface, and next one is the component level. So of these four design models, four analysis models are be useful for the designing process. And next. So the architectural design, so what is the architecture? The architecture defines the relationship between the major structural elements of the software. So what are the major structural elements that are defined by this? What is the relationship between the major structural elements that is defined by the architectural design? So the architectural styles, the design patterns that can be used to achieve the requirements defined by the system, and the constraints that affect the way in which architecture can be implemented. So what is meant by architecture? So architecture is the overall diagram of the product. Okay, so why we use the architecture? So this architectural diagram will give the overview for what? It gives us some relationship between what? So between major structural elements of the software. So what is the major structural elements? For example, you are placing the in your laptops or mobile, you will see the different elements. What are those? Whether messaging or whether contacts, what are the different apps you are placed on your system. So what is the relationship between the Android phone and the elements that are the graphical icons that are placed on your system? So based upon the storage. So how that can be defined? So that is the architectural design. Okay. So how to utilize the space within the system? How can we provide the design? So in the screen sizes. So some screen sizes will be of small and some screen sizes will be differ. So one is a 15 inches, one is a 12 inches, someone is a 11 inches, like different displays will be there. So of all the displays, the images, the icons, whatever you place in the different apps will look the same. So how it can be appear? So what is the difference? What is the relationship between those elements? So that is the architectural design. So architectural design defines the relationship between the major structural elements of the software. So the architectural styles and the design patterns that can be used to achieve the requirements defined by the system and the constraints that affect the way in which architecture can be implemented. So by using these architectural styles, by using the design patterns, we can achieve the requirements. What are the requirements given by the stakeholder? Okay, so that can be implemented, and also for the system, and also the constraints. Constraints are nothing but the conditions. So whatever the conditions that affect the way which architecture can be implemented. So which type of architecture? We have the different types of architectural models. Component level, interface design, like the different phases. Okay. So the architectural design representation, the framework of a computer-based system is derived from the requirements model. So the main architecture will be drawn from the requirements model. So whatever the requirements according to the stakeholder given the requirements according to that. So which after doing the analysis part. So after considering only the certain requirements, basing upon this architectural design representation will be done. And coming to the next, the design process. So what is the design process? So software design is an iterative process. Iterative is nothing but incremental. Step-by-step increment. Incrementation. So software design is an iterative or incremental process through which requirements are translated into a blueprint. So whatever the system you are developing, mostly based upon the requirements given by the stakeholder or the customers. into a blueprint. So we have to take some blueprint for constructing the software. So whatever the requirements, so we have the framework activities. So 5 framework activities. So first one is requirements. And next, second one is planning. So whatever the requirements we can call as a communication. Communication. So planning. And next, designing. Implementation. And next one is a fifth point is a deployment or delivery, whatever it is. Okay, so this is the 5-step process of the framework activities. Of all those 5, so whatever the communication we done in the first step, so according to the communication that will be planned in the second step. Okay, if the requirements are increased by the stakeholder at a certain stage, then again that that requirement will be implemented in the planning. Okay. So that is the process. That's why software design is an iterative process through which requirements are translated into a blueprint for constructing of the software. Okay. So next, initially the blueprint depicts the holistic view of the software. So what is a blueprint? It is also nothing but some architecture. Whatever the architecture we are saying, that is a blueprint. Okay. So that is the design represented at the high level of abstraction. So in this process, that means the blueprint is nothing but it is a high level of abstraction. That means we are providing the design in the one level. Design is proceeded at a high level of abstraction. That means what type of action is going on. So what type of so for one action, if an event is occurred, so what is the next stage it will go for? Okay, like that. So every part will be shown. And next. So some software quality guidelines and attributes. So what are those? So MEC. Golin. So he is one of the contributors of software engineering. He suggests 3 characteristics that serve as a guide for the evaluation of the good design. So he has given us some good design guidelines. The first point is the design must implement all of the explicit requirements. So whatever the requirement, design implementation, the design, whatever the explicit requirements contained in the requirements model, and it must accommodate all of the implicit requirements designed by the stakeholders. So at first, in the starting of the project, so the requirements can be given by the stakeholders, some requirements. After that, so if the stakeholder has given some more requirements explicitly, that means after considering the requirements whatever he given, so later on if he given some more requirements, we have to implement all those things. And next, the second point is the design must be readable, understandable guide for those who generate code, for those who test and subsequently support the software. So whatever the design has been done by some people, so it should be a readable one. So whatever the design, for example, the web pages, after this web page it has to be designed like this. So it is divided into some frames. So by seeing the design process, so it should be it should have some understandable guide for those. For who? So whatever the design process you implemented, so there is a developer teams. Is a group is divided into some groups. One is a designer team, one is a coding team, one is a testing team. Okay, so the design people, whatever they design, so it should provide with a guide. So it should be understandable to the coding people. Then only they will write the correct code. So if the coding team doesn't know about the whatever the design they did, so if they write their own code, then what is the use of their integration of those two? Integration means combining of those two. Okay, so whatever the design people do, so for example, I am saying something, so you people are understanding in some way, so then what is the use of delivering this session to you? Okay, so whatever I am saying, you have to understood, then only you will write the exam, like that. So whatever the software we are designing, so it should have some guidelines, it should have some guide for the code generation people as well as for the test the software. Okay. And next point is the design should provide a complete picture of the software addressing the data, functional and behavioral domains from an implementation perspective. So after designing only we will going for the implementation of the code. So for what part onwards we have to go for the forward part. That means for example website designing or Android phone designing. So if you are designing some Android software, okay, so in Android software that is operating system. So in operating system what it should support? It should support the some multitasking. So some environments. It has to support. Okay, so whatever the software you are implementing, it should have the such a clarity picture. It should have the complete picture of the software. So what is that software? Why we are implementing the software? For what purposes the software is implementing? Addressing the data. So what type of data here we are using? So what are the functions? How it will function? So what is its behavior? So when we when we give the some login credentials, then how it will behave? Okay. So from an implementation perspective, so as per the implementation perspective, we have to provide all these details. And coming to the next, quality guidelines. So what is the quality guidelines? In order to evaluate the quality of the design representation, consider the following guidelines. The first one is a design should exhibit an architecture so that has been created using recognizable architectural styles or patterns. So in software designing process, there is some architectural styles, some architectural patterns. According to that, we have to design the system. And secondly, it is composed of components that exhibit good design characteristics. So it is composed of some components that exhibit the good design characteristics. Thirdly, can be implemented in an evolutionary fashion and thereby facilitating implementation and testing. So whatever you are implementing, it should be in evolutionary fashion. That means if there is some technology changes, if there is some technology advancement, okay, according to that the software has to be updated. So whatever the software you are using, whatever the software you are implementing, that software has to be incorporate the whatever the changes coming in the future. For example, now we are using the 4G. For example, if 5G is came into India, then whatever the softwares we are using, either Android or iPhone, whatever it is. So according to the 5G technology, the software has to update by itself. Then only the software will be used. Otherwise, the software is called as a legacy software. Okay. So can be implemented in an evolutionary fashion, thereby facilitating implementation and testing. Okay. And next. So design should be modular. So the design should be modular. That is, software should be logically partitioned into elements or subsystems. So that is already known. So next, third point is a design should contain distinct representations of data. So architecture, interfaces and components, whatever the things we are using, so there should be a distinct one. Distinct is nothing but they should be distinct is nothing but different. So next, fourth point. So a design should lead to data structures that are appropriate for the classes to be implemented and are drawn from the recognizable data patterns. So we have seen the patterns in the third unit. So according to those patterns, we have to design the data structures, whatever the data structures you are using. So in order to connect with the backend. Okay. So we have to use the appropriated classes to be implemented in the coding form. So a design should lead to a components that exhibit independent functional characteristics. So whatever the components you are using in the design part, whether it is like different functions, so that it should be an independent functional characteristics. Okay. And next, sixth point, a design should lead to interfaces that reduce the complexity of connections between components and within the external environment. So whatever the design interfaces you are taking, so that should lead to the complexity of connections. So whatever the design, so for example, this is a smart board. So it is look like some laptop. How we interact with our laptop, like that only the smart board will be available. So if you make some more complications in that in order to interact with it, the user will not interested to interact with this system. So we should avoid some complexities to interact with the system. And next, seventh point, a design should be derived by using a repeatable method that is driven by information obtained during software requirements analysis. So whatever the requirement analysis you did, according to that you have to design the design should be drawn. Okay, and next, the last point is a design should be represented using a notation that effectively communicates its meaning. Also, whatever the design you are providing, whatever the design phrase you are showing, it should effectively communicates with the users. Okay, so summary. So we have seen some design process. What is the design process? What is architecture? So, and next we have seen some of the guidelines. And also we have seen some of the software quality through designing process.